Live from New York, it's Saturday Night Live.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
kidding. I actually lied to you. It's the right wrong turn.
It is the right wrong turn. Also, it's Saturday night. You don't have the live on there. You ever watch Saturday Night Live?
I did, but it's been a while. Also, just to let you know, the right wrong turn is actually better than Saturday Night Live.
We're not gonna make those claims on air.
But I mean, it's true. So
It is, yes, but we're not gonna make those claims. I'm editing this episode, and Tyler is not. Tyler, you want to explain why you're not editing this episode?
yeah, this week and last week have been, okay, so this past week has been hellaciously busy, but I think that next week is going to be a lot, even worse. So I asked my good old buddy, good old friendo pal Mason D. Arnold to edit
that's
for
me.
me. Yeah, that's,
I just heard a
that's
lot
you.
of excuses, and I just thought, I'll do it anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's what I'm good at. Excuses, excuses, excuses. You know, my mama used to say that excuses were like booty holes. Some smell worse than others.
I don't think that's how the phrase goes.
That's what she would
Oh,
say.
really?
Yeah.
That's weird and funny, I guess.
Yeah, it is kind of... I mean, I thought it was kind of weird, but...
I thought the expression was everybody's got one.
Huh.
You never heard that?
No, never heard... I haven't heard it that way.
That's the way I've always heard it.
I like that, though.
Excuses are like buttholes. Everybody's got one.
Just like Spider-Man saying, everyone gets one.
Except not really, because that's a different context. My name is Mason Arnold,
And my name is Tyler Bears.
and you're listening.
Do the right wrong turn.
Oh, I thought we were going to do a listening to
Oh,
the...
two.
Right.
Wait.
Right. What? You are listening to
The
Right
wrong.
Turn.
Ah!
Oh.
That was a scream.
Oh, that was a scream?
Yeah, because once people realize that they've went down the wrong turn, they can't turn away.
Yeah, they've made a horrible mistake coming down this turn.
Awful mistake. They
Yes.
are gonna hate their lives.
They're going to wish there was a pause button, but there's not, I promise. Please don't look for it. We need listeners.
Trust us. It's just not there.
It's not worth it. You're going to have to keep listening to this train wreck because it's going to be funny watching us spiral out of control.
Into a deep, dark path of oblivion. And
Yeah, I agree.
how has your week been? What are you gonna be up to?
My week has been chill, really. Haven't really done much.
I thought you said that this week was gonna be like crazy busy for you.
I lied.
Cool.
Yeah,
like
I thought
being
I
lied to.
thought it was going to be crazy busy, and then it turns out I got everything that I needed to get done on Tuesday.
Wow.
So I just played video games the rest of the week.
I wish I could have that life.
I know. It's nice, isn't it?
Okay, so you work at Inc. What
Mm-hmm.
what all does that like require from you?
Well, really nothing yet. I just go to the meetings. I take care of the banner. But I really don't have very many responsibilities through that.
I see that banner with you everywhere.
It's only on Thursdays and in my car.
I guess I only see you on Thursdays and Fridays because I
Yeah, I
see
think
you
so.
all the time with that.
How's your week been?
Fire. Hell. Brimstone.
Sounds like fun.
I just want to make it out alive.
You're close. It's Friday.
I've lost so much of my hair this week.
Is it because you're balding?
It's like male pattern and baldness met up, and it's like, hey, let's make a baby on top of Tyler's head.
Except that baby's just skin
Yeah.
and no hair.
What are you going to be talking about this week?
This week?
Yeah.
Like this recording?
Yeah.
I'm going to be talking about the Hummel Park in North Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh, Omaha.
Omaha, Nebraska.
Wow, we could visit that right now.
We could. It's like 2 hours away.
Yep. Right
Except
about that.
Omaha's a boring drive.
Oh, I don't think so.
Really? You don't think the interstate, the I-29 interstate, wow, that's redundant. The interstate is boring?
No, because I don't know. Usually whenever I go up there, I'm listening to podcasts, so my mind is constant.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah, but the last time I drove to Omaha, I didn't know podcasts were things. So I was pretty bored.
Mason
Anyway,
doesn't really get out much.
No, I don't. That's why I'm so pale.
Okay, well, point taken.
Yeah, I didn't choose to be pale.
You winked at me, and I don't know what that means.
Oh, man. Yeah, we could drive to Omaha.
Yeah,
We could. We still have to drive to Lincoln City, Nebraska City.
Lincoln City.
I got confused. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I was gonna make the joke, but I was like, nah, I don't want him to have to edit that out.
I'm going to leave it in. Oh, man. What a day. Yes, Omaha, North Omaha, Nebraska, Hummel Park. Hummel, not humble. Hummel, Hummel.
There's not really a whole lot to do in North Omaha. Like, I mean,
You
that's,
can go to the haunted park.
that's where all the crime is at too.
I mean, that's where the crime was, yeah. I'm going to explain all of that.
Oh, okay.
I've got it all here.
So there's crime and ghosts.
Both, yeah.
Wow.
There's quite a bit. No, there's
Okay.
ghosts because of the crime.
Ah, was it a recent crime?
Some of them.
Well, you could also go to Little Vietnam up there in North Omaha. Heard some pretty wacky stories about that. Well, not really stories. I've just heard a wacky generalization about that. So there used to be this like hotel or motel or something like that up in Omaha, and there was so much crime and abuse and sexual like misconduct and drugs up in there that that they started to call it Little Vietnam. And last time I was up in Omaha, it had been demolished. So
Oh, well, that's... that took a turn.
yeah, it was. Again, I don't really visit Omaha a whole lot, so someone could correct me on this. But North Omaha, it kind of looked like it was getting better, like because like there was like a lot of construction going on around there.
I think the only reason anybody that doesn't live near Omaha goes to Omaha is for the zoo.
I don't know. Well, because
Is that a safe assumption?
I mean that used to be the only reason why I used to go up to Omaha, but now I go there to visit my papa.
And now we'll go up there to go to this park, which I'm going to start talking about because we've killed 10 and a half minutes.
Wow.
And by 10 and a half minutes, I mean 10 minutes and half a minute.
If those minutes were years, you would have killed a decade.
I've already killed a decade. I've almost killed 2.
Just
I will have killed 2 decades in a few months.
completely wasted.
9 months. A little less than
No.
9 months.
No reason for wanting them.
Nope. Just a podcast and a gay friend.
And that's all you've got.
That's all I can show for it.
Are you proud of those achievements?
I'm proud of one of them. The other one I'm a little disturbed by. I'll let you decide which one is which. Hummel Park sits at 11808 John J. Pershing Drive in North Omaha, Nebraska.
You know what I've realized? With every haunting, you've given out an address.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that a problem?
No.
I didn't give out an address for Stoll.
They did.
Did I?
Yeah.
Well,
I thought you did. I certainly thought you did.
I practically described where it was anyway,
Yeah.
so I would assume that I did everything short of giving the address.
I mean, how many Stoll cemeteries are there in Kansas City? Or no, not Kansas City,
Not
just
even
Kansas.
City. It's
just
between
Kansas.
Topeka and Lawrence.
Yeah. How many?
Oh, by the way, I
Yeah.
forgot to mention this whenever I posted that episode, but my brother called me the next day and said, "Hey, you got your facts wrong on that Stoll place." I said, "Okay, what did I get wrong?" And he said, I don't know what he said. I forgot already, but he said something like,
Good story. Good story.
I know, it's been like 3 weeks ago. He said something to the effect of, "They didn't fight the devil in Stoll, Kansas. I don't even know what Stoll, Kansas is." And then he looked it up and he said, "Oh, yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I don't know what I'm thinking of the other cemetery. But yeah, you're right." And I was just thinking, I actually said to him, "Okay, sweet. Hang up."
Wow. Do you want to reenact that whenever I'm you and you're your brother, or vice
No,
versa?
you can be my brother.
Okay. Ring, 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 ring,
Oh, it's Eli? Decline. Let's move on.
ring. Ring. Did he
It-
just hang up on me?
Yes. Hummel Park is a 202-acre park about 2 hours away from here and from Savannah, where I was doing this research at.
Why are you talking like a robot?
I'm not talking like a robot.
You kind of were from here 2 hours away
2 hours away.
in Savannah. Sorry.
Are you not even going to question why it's 2 hours away from Maryville, too?
Well, I mean, you said that it was in Omaha,
Yeah, but
North Omaha.
Maryville's closer to Omaha than Savannah is
Well, sure. Why? What?
because it takes like a half hour to get to the interstate from Maryville.
Anything else on that?
Nope, that was
Hey,
it.
wow, thanks.
You're welcome. And now we're jumping into the history. We're done with the geography of it. The park is named for Joseph B. Hummel, who was the superintendent of Omaha Parks and Recreation Department. Am I boring you with that yawn?
Yeah, I yawn every time you tell your story. I don't know. I just find you to be the most boring person that I know.
Really?
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 Yeah, like you are literally just a walking lullaby. I don't get it.
Oh man, that's great. The land was donated to Omaha in 1930. Prior to this, the land was home to Cabinet's Trading Post, which was a popular and influential fur trading post on the Missouri River. Wow, I just completely vanished. Had an out-of-body experience there. That was fun.
You're faded.
Yeah.
How many drugs did you do before coming on here?
What time is it? It is 4:02, so roughly that many.
What?
The land was also home to Fort Lisa. Manuel Lisa founded this fort in 1812, which was also an influential little trading post there. And fun fact about Manuel Lisa, he was the first European farmer in Nebraska.
Wow.
I know, right?
What year did you say that was?
1812.
Wow.
Yeah, branching out a little bit. Manuel, good stuff.
The first one?
Yeah, first European farmer.
Gosh, there's a lot of countries in Europe, and Europe was quite influential. I'm surprised that it took that long.
Well, America was founded in 1776. It took less than 40 years to get out that way.
But I don't, that still seems like a long time, though.
I guess. And we're going to jump right into the deaths of the park. Are you ready?
Yes.
No more background. It's just all deaths now. All deaths and hauntings. Are you ready? We're going to jump right into it. A radio repairman was murdered in the park in 1933. Murdered in the park. I don't know how.
Just okay. Wow. Don't know how he was just murdered. We just know that he was murdered.
He just murdered. A lot of these I don't really know how many of them were murdered. Some of them I do. There's like 8 here, I think. A soldier's body was found in the park in 1936. Don't know what kind of soldier. I think it was a Civil War soldier now that I think about it. Civil War soldier. Which would make the most sense given the context. Because in 1936, only one major war the U.S. was involved in took place, which was World War I. And there wasn't any fighting in Nebraska during World War I. So I'm thinking it's the Civil War.
I'm surprised with that fact.
I know, it's wild, isn't it? It's a good timeline. A drunk driver who was leaving the park ran into a hayride and killed one person in 1950.
Yike.
Yeah, that was the most bizarre. Oh no, the next one's more bizarre. I lied. The one that's after this one is the most bizarre. The next one, after the 1951, happens in 1956, which is a woman being raped in the park.
Okay.
Yep, that's about it.
Wait, how does rape translate to ghosts, though?
I don't know. She was angry that she got raped, probably. Sad and angry typically translate to the ghost world. From my abysmal experience with ghosts.
I just wasn't sure if she had been, like, raped and then killed shortly therefore after, or...
This one is the most, the weirdest, I think. A gang of prostitutes, and if that doesn't signify weird to you right off the bat, just wait. A gang of prostitutes sexually assaulted, robbed, and killed another prostitute for like $40, and that prostitute's name was Laura LaPointe, and left her body near Hummel Park in 1883.
They sexually assaulted her? Really? That's just weird, because, like, I don't know. Honestly, personally, I kind of find the term prostitute to be kind of derogatory, but, like, sex workers? And I don't know, like, I just thought, that, like, I don't know, this was a much different time, obviously, but I just
in 1983.
wait. Shoot. You didn't.
It wasn't that different.
Well, calling it 1983 makes it sound so much older. 83? I don't know. That doesn't sound
Did I
right.
say 83?
You said 1983.
Oh, well, I don't know why you're confused then.
No, I just calling. I was thinking 1883.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, well, even the 80s was a much different time for sex. What I'm trying to say though is I think it's weird that sex workers would sexually assault another sex worker. But
You know what's even weirder? The article that I read about that one said sexually assaulted, beat, and killed a prostitute with a 6-foot-long tree limb, which is kind of weird how they worded it because the way that they worded it made it sound like they sexually assaulted the prostitute with the 6-foot tree limb as well.
oh no.
I don't know if that's true, and I hope it's not true, but the way that they worded it sure made it sound like it did.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking, really. A different woman, I don't know why I said different woman, but a different woman was raped by a recently released convict in 1988. So he
Wow.
got out, raped, got put right back in.
That. Did you ever hear about that lady that was raped, thrown on the side of the road, then picked up, and then sexually assaulted again by the guy that picked her up?
Wait, so she was raped, thrown out, and picked up by the same guy that just raped
No,
her?
no. Picked up by a different guy.
Oh,
He raped a girl that had just been raped.
That's terrible. That's nervous laughter. I'm editing that out. I don't want to sound like
Like a psychopath. Psychopath. Psycho. Oh,
my
wait.
favorite song.
No. Wait, what?
What?
Favorite song?
We're moving on. A high school student was kidnapped and murdered in the park in 1992. And the last one, the body of a missing child, Amber Marie Harris, was found in the park in 2006 after being abducted from school in 2005.
2005. That's pretty recent. Was that the
Yeah.
most recent one?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the most recent one that's on record anyway. Wacky, right?
That is wild.
Wild. You know, I think you're right because I offered the exact locations for Seven Sisters Road and for the Devil's House. Maybe I do give the exact locations for the haunted stuff I do. Oh man, I have a problem. So now we go to the rumors and hauntings, which takes up the rest of my stuff. You ready?
Yep.
The park is supposedly built on a Native American burial ground. Great start. It's where I'd build something if I wanted it to be haunted, 100%. Or I'd gruesomely murder someone where I needed it to be haunted. Yep.
That's kind of nice.
If I wanted a spot to be haunted, that's where I'd go. Native American burial ground, or I'll gruesomely murder someone on the spot.
You also have talked about a native burial ground before.
Stole, Kansas, too, yeah.
Yeah.
Just wait, it gets more coincidental. One of the most prominent rumors involves the entrance of the park. When you drive into the park, into Hummel Park, the trees are eerily curved inwards toward the road. Looks kind of creepy. I saw pictures of it. It looks really weird. It's said that a whole load of lynchings took place there. And that's my exact wording on that, too. A whole load of lynchings. The reason the trees are still bent is because the souls of the people are still hanging in the trees.
Oh, that's kind of poetic.
It is, but also eerie. Victims report hearing screams and cries as they enter the park.
Just at any time?
Yep. Whenever they want to be heard, I guess. Now here's the coincidental thing. There's a specific spot in the park called the Morphing Stairs. Morphing. Not the morphine. The Morphine Stairs. The Morphing Stairs, also known as the 100 Stairs. These stairs are said to lead to hell. I have a
Okay.
weird thing for hellbound stairs, don't I?
Yeah, you do. You really do. And Native American burial grounds, and giving out the addresses to go to these places.
I know. It's weird. I need to stop. You just need to take over paranormal for the rest of forever. I'll do the crime and you do the paranormal. Oh, man. I have a rough time with this. Rumors say that you will never count the exact same number of stairs. This is where it actually gets super interesting on these stairs. Because I've never heard anything like it before. You walk down and you count a number of stairs, and then you walk back up, and it's not the same number of stairs that you counted on the way down. But there are rumors that if you count the correct number on the way down, The devil will appear to grant you whatever wish you want, granted that you are willing to give your soul in return.
Because that always works out, right?
Yeah, always.
That's a good idea. Do that.
Another one, or a different rumor, says that if you count the same number of stairs on your way up as you did on the way down, you will soon die.
Nice.
I know.
So they're just making people into idiots.
Yeah, so just don't count the stairs.
Yeah. Like, oh, if I say the wrong number, then I won't die. Like, I don't know. It's funny.
I wrote this next bullet down. I said, none of these are true, and there are actually 188 stairs. And a few places said 188 stairs, and then a few other places said there are actually 186 stairs. So I think that just proves the point even further that the stairs are weird.
Or
people don't know how to count.
Yeah, especially in Missouri.
Well, the rumor came about because the stairs are really old and they're crumbling in. Because they're stone stairs, so they're all falling apart and everything. Wind erosion's taking their toll.
Oh, so it's like going down the stairs like, oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, okay, that one. There's a little bit of stuff falling off, but I'll count it. And then the other one's just completely gone. But there should be a stair there. It's like, nah, I won't count that one.
Exactly.
Put that one
That's
in there.
exactly what people think. I agree. There's a rock at the bottom of the stairs that has 188 spray painted on it as well.
188?
188.
What does that mean?
188. Like the rumored exact number of the stairs, 188.
Oh, okay.
But there's also inverted crosses and pentagrams spray painted on the rock as well.
Yike.
And also swastikas.
You know, the inverted... I love how whenever someone tries to be edgy, they draw a swastika. Though a lot of times they'll draw it backwards, and if it's backwards, that actually means peace. Also, it's so hard to actually draw a correct swastika, and people think, I don't know, people just think that they can just do it.
Is it really that difficult to draw?
Well, I mean, like, to draw, like, a good one.
Like an accurate
Yeah.
swastika? I can't believe we're having this conversation.
And then also, like, the pentagrams, the pentagram isn't actually a sign of the devil. It's a sign, like, it's actually a paganistic sign that people, mainly Christians, I will say that, have turned into, like, satanic stuff. Yeah, so I'm just saying, it's a bunch of edgy teenagers that are trying to be cool and be like Satan, who's my best pal, bro.
Be like Satan. Well, that's like live like Larry on SpongeBob. Live like Satan. Sacrifice like Satan. Love it.
Love it. Getting litty.
So there's another murder in the park that I didn't tell you about earlier.
Oh?
And that's only because this one's not entirely confirmed, but it's possible that it could have happened.
Okay, well, when was it?
I don't know. It didn't give me a date. Jacob and Lorinda, frick me, Kladinoff.
Oh, frick me.
Oh, frick me. That's my clean substitute. I don't want the explicit E next to this episode. Jacob and Lorinda Kladinoff were two of the first settlers in the area. One day, Lorinda murdered Jacob in their cabin and buried him in the park somewhere.
Yikes, honey.
Yeah, just right in there.
Okay.
She ran off with a lover. She was having an affair. People claim to still see the ghost of Jacob wandering around the park. They also hear screams and cries, which is a very common theme in this park. Screams and cries, as you'll soon find out. Jacob is heard to be asking, "Where's Lorinda?" and pleads, "Don't leave me," which is heartbreaking.
Huh. That is pretty sad.
You ready for the most famous one that comes from this?
Yes.
Now, in my opinion, it's most famous because it's the one that always popped up when I was reading about the park. The albino colony.
Okay.
The albino colony.
Wait. Is it like those blue people in West Virginia that were so inbred that their skin started to turn blue?
No.
But instead of being blue, they're albino?
No.
Okay.
No. Not at all, no.
Okay.
This is the most unique story to come from Hummel Park. A group of albinos is said to have started the colony in the park in the 1950s, and people claim to still see remnants of this group around the park. There was, at one point, a small gated-off community of albinos that were near the park, but they never had any severe altercation with it. Or they never were heavily involved in the park. They just lived near it. which is kind of weird that it was small, gated off. I don't know why that struck me as odd, but it did. Where was I? Some people say that the albinos wander around with lanterns, scaring off people that are too close to their community. Which brings me to my next one. They all tie in somehow. The next one is the sunken graves. The sunken graves. People report to see a lantern swinging back and forth above the graves, which could be an albino swinging lanterns around there to get some rapscallions away. Along with the lights floating around the graves, random lights, drums, and chants can be heard, which, for my money, could be a Native American funeral. Either an IRL Native American funeral or a not IRL Native American funeral.
I don't know. I don't know what a Native American funeral is like, so I can't.
The next one is the Screaming Bridge. They have a weird thing with screaming, too.
Yeah, you do. You got it. You're a little man.
Thanks. I guess. The Screaming Bridge. A legend states that a man was hung from the bridge for stealing a horse. The widow promised to visit the bridge every full moon, which seems like a strange time to me to want to visit your lover's death site on a full moon.
She wants to bathe in the moonlight. The moon makes her crazy like a wild animal that she can't control, like a werewolf. They used to actually believe that that the moon would cause craziness, lunacy, also lunatic. Yeah, and back in the day, if you did a crime on a full moon, then you could actually get off scot-free.
Really?
Yeah.
I like it. Let's bring that back, except we'll call it The Purge and make it a movie instead.
Because that's not an idea already. And the moon doesn't even have to be involved.
The bridge is no longer there, but screams of a woman can still be heard from where the bridge once stood. Another rumor says that the woman approached the mob and had her head cut off by them, and she still wanders on full moon nights asking where her head is.
How could she ask if her head's if her head's gone, I'd imagine that her vocal cords are also gone.
Yes, but she's also a ghost who can just summon sounds.
Huh.
Yeah. You didn't think of that one, did you?
Well, if she knows where her body's at, then that doesn't make any sense.
You're right.
I'm going to call Hocus Pocus on that one.
Because if you're... you should be able to see where... If you have full control of everything on your head when it's cut off, you should be able to see where your head is and then pull your body to where it's at. That's such a ridiculous statement. Oh, I didn't even think about that, but that's so ridiculous. Okay, we're moving on. This one's less of a rumor or a haunted story as much as it is a fact and a warning. The homeless people and drug addicts wander the area, and this is a fact and a warning to anyone wanting to wander the park at night. That homeless people and drug addicts wander around it, and that could be your explanation for ghostly figures you see in the distance.
Yeah, just some guy wanting some meth.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, got any Hanya? Having a haunting voice. Hey, I just want some meth.
Okay.
It was a lot funnier in my head.
Yeah, I bet it was. Maybe you should think before you speak.
Maybe he looks like a ghost as well.
I would assume so. This is one of the more popular haunted areas. It's one of the areas that is said to be the most haunted and a legitimate haunted area.
Okay, so if all of the different places went to if all the different haunted places went to a high school together, this one would be the most popular.
Yeah, in a weird analogy way, yeah.
Sweet.
Yep. And it's a swing set.
Okay.
There's an area on top of a hill where a swing set sits. The swings swing on their own without any wind. Swings swing. Child's laughter can be heard near the swings, and it is rumored to be the most haunted spot in the park.
We'll go swinging, do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do. We'll go swinging, You look like you're about to eat me up. Did you have something else to say?
You know how it feels when I ramble and you have to edit it out?
I was
Yeah,
trying to be
You
fun.
do. Yeah. You do.
I was just trying to be fun.
You spiced it up, that's for sure.
Sing a little song.
You spiced something up.
Well, you said have more back and forth, so I want to have more back and forth with
Yeah, I didn't mean sing.
you. You just because you don't take it, just because you don't like it, doesn't mean that you have to hate me for it.
The next area I have here is called the Devil's Slide. You like that, don't you? The Devil's Slide.
I love it.
It's the area adjacent to the swing set, and it's a hill that goes downwards.
Please tell
Downward.
me that as soon as you get to the end of it, you just fall right into a bit of hell.
Nope, you go to the road.
That's lame.
There's a road right next to it. It's called the Devil's Hill because there has been erosion that's created several holes in the hill. Rumor has it that in the 1980s, the holes matched up perfectly to create the face of the devil, hence the name. Wait, it gets better. In the right eye of the devil worshippers would sacrifice animals. There's a trail that leads through the slide that goes right through the right eye, and there is disturbed dirt there that brings people to believe that the rumor is true.
Why the right eye? Why not in its like mouth or something? Or why even call it the Devil's Slide? That's so stupid. Like,
I don't have any response for you.
This is the Devil's Room. I'm recording this on the Devil's microphone because we're all just puppets of Satan. Ooh, look how edgy I am.
You like that edgy stuff, don't you?
Go ahead, Mad Dog.
Mad Dog.
Yeah, that's your new name now.
Thanks.
Mad Dog.
Mad Dog.
Mad Dog.
I thought I was Monster Boy.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Monster Boy. Go ahead, Monster Boy.
One story I read said that a group of 3 people left the park and felt like one side of the side, I don't know how to write. One side of the car was much more weighted down than the other side when they got onto the interstate. They checked the car for flats, but they didn't have any flat tires. They concluded that they had a passenger that they did not invite or want.
Or one of the friends is kind of big. Or
Wow, okay.
here's another option.
Way to jump to conclusions.
Probably the more correct option. Your power steering is going out, just like it is in my car.
It's because your car is from 1983. 87.
89.
I was so close the second time. But they hurried back to the park, but got lost on the way to the park. The weight still pressed on their car. Once they got back to the park, the weight lifted and they went home silent. Explain that to me
Well,
with your modern science.
okay. They had a piece of mud somewhere stuck in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And they just fell off when they entered the park?
Yeah. As soon as they started to drive away, it's not that unrealistic.
Get your face closer to the microphone.
It's not that hard to believe that maybe like a piece of mud was on their tires or something, and they were just, I don't know. Maybe one kid is just like, I'm a really bad driver, so I'm gonna blame it on a ghost.
Probably not.
I don't know.
You just like to make excuses.
Everyone's got one. Everyone's got
Just
one.
like buttholes.
Just like buttholes.
The next one I have here is phantom cars. And you might be wondering to yourself, what does this mean?
Is it just like my phantom cars from the last episode?
Kind of, except yours wasn't a phantom car. And it wasn't last episode, it was 2 episodes ago.
Or it was too a phantom car.
It wasn't.
It just disappeared.
No, it stopped.
No, it didn't.
It did.
It was there and then it wasn't.
Nope. Cars, the phantom kind of cars, will sometimes follow or chase people out of the park, disappearing just before the exit. And it's just like your bogus story.
Or maybe they stopped. Maybe they stopped. Maybe they turned around.
Maybe they did. I don't know.
It's a lot more believable in a city because there's a lot more turns and stuff in a city than there are like in a country.
Right?
So just saying.
I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'm not going to say you're right. Some people will also see headlights, but no car. They'll see headlights flash past them or whatever,
Right.
But they won't see a car. Kind of weird. And then the final one I have here is Satanists. Satanists.
They're so edgy and cool.
They are. Yeah, they're the biggest rumor in the park. Every website I read mentioned the Satanists. And I read a lot of websites. Satanists use the altars around the park to sacrifice small animals.
Nice.
Yeah, there's quite a few altars. I saw it was like a picture tour of Hummel Park, and it walked around different trails, and most of the trails ended in weird altars.
See, I feel like there are different kinds of Satanists though, because like some Satanists will be like that, like you just described, like animal sacrificing crazy people, but then there are some that I think believe in Satan just to believe in Satan, you know?
I don't know. I don't know anything about Satanists. They also use several abandoned buildings and houses or anything that has been torn down to worship the devil. And that's all I've got on Hummel Park.
Wow, that was a journey from start to finish.
Yep.
That was fun though.
It was a fun journey.
There were quite a few stories in there though.
It
was broken up.
It was all a few separate things, and by a few I mean like 12 separate things that all tied back together.
Right. Yeah, what I've noticed a lot is like a lot of the ghost stories aren't like the only exception to this really that I can think of is the Screaming House. So far. But like a lot of the ghost stories aren't like a crime story because we're not just following one person. So
I think the only reason the Screaming House was like that is because
the guy was a writer.
Nobody really moved into it after Stephen did. There were a few other people that moved in, but nobody really as notable as Stephen. And then they closed it off. It's now a dog place where they hold dogs. So nobody really lives in it anymore. Nobody occupies it. And that was my first time doing that, so there was probably stories to be found on it. I just didn't do it that way. But now I do. And now it's your turn to tell me your story that may or may not be finished.
You have to put that in there.
I know.
You have to drag me like this. Don't drag me through the mud like this.
What's your story about this week, Tyler Bears?
I will be talking about a killer couple from Missouri.
Ooh, killer Missouri couples.
Ray and Faye Copeland. Ray and Faye Copeland.
Ooh, it rhymes. I like it.
Yeah,
I like things that rhyme.
You'd said that before whenever I first told you
Yeah.
who I was going to be talking about.
Yeah.
You said that you had already liked it.
I was eager.
Yeah.
I'm
So
still eager.
people are not always as they seem.
Mm.
In fact, I would argue that more times than not, people are only putting on a front. It doesn't matter their race, sexual orientation, or their age. Age. That is especially true for Ray and Faye Copeland, a killer couple that proved to the world that old age doesn't mean that someone isn't inherently nice. In fact, they were quite disturbed, and they held a very sinister tune in their hearts.
Is this about a senior citizen serial killer couple?
Well, they were the oldest couple to receive the death penalty, I believe.
You mean you didn't have this research prior to this?
Hold on. I want to say, wait, yes.
They were?
Yes, they were the oldest couple sent to death row.
So they are a senior citizen serial killer couple.
Yes.
It's a nice acronym and alliteration.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. So, just like I started with Starkweather, I guess, I would say that there are quite a few similarities between Starkweather and Ray and Faye Copeland.
Did they beat a dog with a shotgun?
No, they did not.
Well.
But this was in an older time.
How old?
Well, Ray was born on December 30th in 1914. So right at the beginning of World War One.
Like it?
Yeah. And within okay, so his parents were Jess and Lanny Copeland. And they would have 2 more kids. He was the oldest.
Right.
And within his teen years, guess what happened?
What?
The Great Depression. Because that had a fantastic influence on a lot of people.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah, it made a lot of people really happy.
With dust and bowls and stuff.
Yeah, and they were really excited about that.
And stock market crash.
It's kind of like the Great Depression happened at a time when things just shouldn't have happened. You know, because then there was the Great Dust Bowl. There was also two world wars. Like it was sandwiched in between 2 world wars.
Mm-hmm.
Things were just not good.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, a lot of people man, it's wild, just wild. Anyway, when he was around 20 years old, he committed his first crime. He stole 2 hogs from Jess and stealing...
From his mom?
From his dad.
Oh, from his dad?
Yeah.
His dad's name was Jess?
Yeah, Jess. And
so the mom's name was Laney and not
yeah, like Lanny or Laney.
Laney.
Laney?
Probably Laney.
Delaney. So at age 20, he committed his first crime, and that was stealing 2 hogs from his father, Jess, and then selling them in another town. So that was kind of cool. I'm sure that his dad really appreciated that.
What town did they grow up in?
Well, okay, so the interesting stuff, he actually was born in Ozark Hills, Kansas, or excuse me, Ozark Hills, Arkansas.
Okay.
I just about called it Arkansas.
Arkansas?
Yeah, because I don't know how to read.
That's that's fair.
Anyway, his family actually moved around a lot during his growing up. So, you know, I can't really blame the guy for being a scumbag. I mean, he did grow up in some pretty hard times, though it's no excuse to actually grow up and become a scumbag, because
Right.
don't you grow up and be a scumbag. That's a simple little lesson from Ty Bears. Me. Ding.
I like it.
I do too. He met his wife, Faye, who was actually a physician's assistant. Sorry, before he met his wife, he was actually arrested in 1936.
For what?
Forging government checks
Oh, gosh.
in Harrison, Arkansas. So,
Okay.
yeah, that was a pretty cool thing that he did as well.
I like it.
Yeah, he was only sentenced to a year in county jail. And in the spring of 1940, Ray made a routine visit to the physician's office where he met his wife.
His future wife, right?
Yeah, his future
Okay,
wife,
good.
Faye Della Wilson. Faye was born August 4th, 1921. So
nice 7-year difference.
yeah, which I mean is pretty weird. I mean, like in today's standards, because he would have been 26. So
That's not terribly out of the ordinary.
I mean, if
I know a few people who have dated 7 years plus.
Well, I mean, like it's a lot more common in older people, I would say. But
It is, I agree. But it's not to say it's less common now. It's just not as talked about now.
I mean, if
They're not forcing people to get married at 19 anymore.
right. She and Ray started dating for 6 months, and then they got married.
Sweet.
Yeah.
True
That
love, right?
is so young to be getting married, and quick. Anyway, so they had 4 kids: Everett, Billy Ray, and then in between their second and third child, they decided to move out to California, where he and Faye had their one and only daughter, Betty Lou. The following year was Alvia. Alvia. That was their third son. They actually had 5 kids. William snuck in there.
Oh my goodness.
I remembered reading about the 4 sons. I could not find the 5 sons. Are you tired of me yet, Mason, from the future?
There wasn't even 5 sons anyway. There was 4 sons and a daughter.
5 kids, I meant. I'm bad at everything.
Past Mason is tired of you, present Mason is tired of you, and future Mason sure is getting there, aren't you?
Oh, man. Anyway, she and Ray would be dating for 6 months. After that, they would get married. After that, they would have 5 kids together. There'd be Everett and Billy. Then they would move out to California, and they'd have Betty Lou. Then, after that, they'd have Alvia, which was their 3rd son.
Also in California?
Yes.
Okay.
And then after that, 1 year later, they would have William Wayne. Ray was accused of stealing horses from a local farmer, and while no charges were filed, his established reputation in Fresco County, California was left damaged, and Ray had to move back to Arkansas.
Yeah, you said it kind of weird there.
Yeah, Arkansas. Anyway, also, just a little side note, Ray was horribly abusive to his kids.
Really?
Yeah, there's a documentary on YouTube. It's only like 20 minutes. And his son, I believe it was William Wayne. He said that he would just beat those kids, beat the living hell out of them for no reason.
Wow.
Yeah, and Faye, she had grown up, and I would almost have to say, I'd be going off on a limb, but I'm going to do it. I wouldn't be surprised to find out that she was also abused because...
By him or by her own parents?
Well, she was definitely abused by Ray. She would just get slapped right across the house for even doing something that he just didn't like. You know, if she was watching a show that he didn't like, he would just, oh my gosh, hours of abuse. Anyway, so Ray was just a really abusive husband. They eventually had to move back to Arkansas, where, again, Ray, this is all that Ray knew. He knew that he was going to steal cattle, and he knew that he was going to sell them because he couldn't make a decent living. Part of the reason why he couldn't make a decent living is because he could not read and he could not write. So, wasn't really much of a smarty pants.
So are you covering this guy because all he did was steal cattle and that's technically a crime?
Oh, no.
Are you doing this to spite me?
No, baby.
Because that would be hilarious, and I would love you forever for that, because that is just brilliant. You're taking the whole crime thing and just flipping it on its head.
Wait, you said that it can't just be murder?
Well, I guess not.
No.
We kind of went for that, but I would think it would be hilarious if you just talked about how he stole cattle and that was all he did.
I'll just leave out the
All
murder.
he did was rob banks.
Yeah, I'll just leave out the murder. Anyway.
You just pick someone that stole cattle. Oh man, I'd cry and laugh at the same time.
Oh, so moving on. During the summer of 1966, the family decided to move out to Missouri, where Ray would actually purchase a small farm, about 40 acres, and Faye would start working at a glove-making company.
A glove-making company?
Yes, sir.
What glove-making company?
I don't know. That's unsure of. That is unsure of for right now. Ray was also kind of a local known asshole around town, and
Okay.
yeah, he wasn't a very nice guy. To his neighbors, he was known as a bitter old man.
I like it.
And Faye,
What year was all this happening here? Is there a timeline for this?
yes, sir. Well, okay, so
Because you say bitter old man, but we haven't heard a year since 1926 or 1921, whenever she was born.
that's a lie. You haven't been paying attention to me, because I said in the summer of 1966.
When did you say that?
You're gonna hear it whenever you're editing.
I'm not going to because you didn't say it.
Fine, I'll say it again, and you'll be like, "Fucking damn it, he was right." You're gonna do it. You're gonna do that. You're gonna send it to me on Snapchat.
I won't because I'm never wrong.
During the summer of 1966, Ray would decide to move his family out to Missouri.
Thank you for finally stating the year.
So, as we all know, Ray Copeland was a scumbag. All he ever knew how to do was steal cattle. Now, that's not to say that he wasn't dumb around cattle. I mean, you know, he did have a farm.
Right.
He was kind of a smart guy. a smart guy to an extent. So he came up with a plan, and that plan was to get checks from people that he'd be buying cows from, right?
Right.
Wait, hold on. I don't want to mess this up. So I'm going to. Ray formulated a scheme to scam people purchasing cattle and then getting away with it. His plan was to show up at a cattle auction, catering hitchhikers, drifters, and other forms of transients. Have a man he was purchasing cattle from write out a check from Ray's book, sign said check, and then sell the cattle before the check could bounce. He would then claim innocence to the authorities, who would eventually come to investigate and allege that the signatures on the checks were forged. Since the men he purchased the cattle from were hitchhikers, drifters, and other forms of transients, they would have already skipped town to continue their travels, giving them liability to forgery. While the scheme was completely unoriginal, Ray was able to get away with the scheme a dozen times until one of Ray's scam victims, Gerald Perkins, was interrogated by police, and he exposed Ray's scheme. Ray was soon arrested and sentenced to almost 2 years in jail for check forgery. Because that, Mason, is illegal. Okay, so Ray had 2 years to think about this in prison. And so he thought, I'm going to tweak the scam just a little bit, just a little tiny bit. Okay? Instead of having his scam victims write checks from his account, they'd be told to get a post office box and open up an account in their name. Then have them write checks from their accounts at cattle auctions. His explanation for this to the scam victims were the auctioneers disliked him for one reason or another. Honestly, the auctioneers probably didn't like him because they knew that he liked to rip people off and liked to steal cattle. Anyway, he said that the auctioneers wouldn't give him a fair shake. After the scheme was carried out, Ray would eliminate the key witness by murdering them.
Is this his first murder?
Well, yes. So he would do this, he did this 12 different times.
Whoa, wait, he killed 12 different people?
Yeah. But hold on, I'll get into that.
Okay. I'm confused now.
During their crimes, they employed 57-year-old Jack McCormick, who soon caught on to their illegal activities.
They murder him too?
Well, I'm getting to that. When Ray sensed McCormick's suspicions, he attempted to kill him, but McCormick was able to flee and alert the authorities, who were already aware of Ray's arrest record and gathered evidence to support McCormick's statements to secure a search warrant for the Copeland property. This is where it gets good.
Oh, I'm ready for it to get good.
A week-long search on the Copeland property was eventually initialed, in which 3 bodies, a list of farm helpers by Faye, and a quilt made from the clothing of the victims was discovered.
Wait, a quilt made from the victims?
Yeah, not from their skin, but from their clothes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
No,
that was a roller coaster.
That could have turned into kind of fun little murders into what the fuck is happening.
There's no such thing as a fun murder.
No, you're right. You're right, but it would have gotten a lot darker.
It went from Ed Gein to not Ed Gein really quickly.
It went from Ed Gein to what were those little stuffed little kids you could get? Cabbage.
Whoa,
Cabbage Kids.
Okay, Cabbage Patch Kids?
Cabbage Patch Kids. It went from Ed Gein to Cabbage Patch Kids.
I wouldn't. Okay.
I like it.
Okay, yeah. That's the title of this episode then. Ed Gein to Cabbage Patch Kids. People are going to look at that and think, I don't think I want to listen to that.
That sounds horrible.
That sounds terrible. Or they'll be like, wow, that sounds really interesting, and I'm going to have to listen to that and love these guys unconditionally forever.
That one seems a little too specific, but yeah, I like it.
It's going to happen. I can think of 3 people right now that would say that about this episode.
Really?
Yeah.
Me?
No.
My dad?
Maybe.
There's only 3 people. How could you not know if my dad's in that list?
That was 2 people. You don't know how to count.
Me and my dad.
Yeah, it's two
But
people.
I said my dad is one because you said me to know. You know what?
You don't know how to count.
You're not picking up what I'm putting down.
No, I'm not. It's a fucking train wreck.
You're absolutely right. The following week, investigators searched another barn purchased by Ray, and 2 more bodies were found. Ray and Faye were arrested. Prosecutors quickly offered a deal to Faye if she revealed to investigators the locations of 2 more bodies. Her only charge would be conspiracy to commit murder, which would result in only a few months in jail for her cooperation. However, Faye had this thought. She, in an interview on the documentary that I was telling you about, she said, if you marry someone, you got to marry them, and you got to be in it for the long run.
Oh no.
She would not get a divorce. Like she hated the fact that Ray was killing, or at least that's what she says.
Right.
And she just constantly asked, like, why? Why do you have to ruin the good things that we had by killing?
The good things?
Yeah, well, I mean, he was still a punk. Yes. An old punk, which is kind of weird to think about.
An old punk. I can just imagine that. Like the movie Bad Grandpa.
Yeah, something like that.
But with sagging pants and a sideways ball cap.
And
just a plain white t-shirt.
So her thought was that if you married someone, you're not going to get a divorce from them. You are there until death do you part.
Good woman.
Yeah, I mean,
Also, she had a good heart.
Yeah.
Had.
If what she's saying is true. However, Faye seemed to cover for her husband, telling the prosecutors of her unaware nature of Ray's killings. The Copelands were soon arraigned on 5 counts of first-degree murder. So, their killing range actually goes anywhere from 5 to 12 killings.
Right.
Because there was this list of people, and some of them had X's by them.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, how many X's were there?
I think there was like 12. They were only able to find bodies, but the ones that had X's by them were the people who were dead. On November 1st of 1990, the 69-year-old Faye went on trial and claimed that Ray committed the murders without her knowledge, and she suffered from battered woman syndrome. However, the evidence against her was solid, and she was found guilty of all 5 charges against her. However, her son would disagree. He actually said in an interview that he couldn't believe that his mom was actually being charged with the same things that his dad was, even though his dad was the one that actually committed it, not his mom. So her son is actually for her.
Okay, 2 things. 1, which son?
William. Yeah.
2, she denied taking the plea bargain, but she testified against him?
Yeah. Sometimes.
That's weird.
I don't know. I think that eventually she saw, like, I have a choice to make here.
So she denied the plea bargain and then decided, I'll take it anyway. So she took the plea bargain anyway.
She was sentenced to death by lethal injection.
So did he testify? Did he have any, did he get to defend himself whatsoever?
I don't think so.
They were just tired of him?
Yeah, it certainly doesn't say it in here. So.
Oh, wait, not in your research?
Not in my research. Nope, not a single lick of criminalminds.wikia.com.
Wow.
She was sentenced to death via lethal injection on account of 4 different murders.
Only 4?
Oh, so sorry. Lethal injection for 4 of the counts and a life sentence without parole for the 5th.
Ah.
Yeah. On March,
why was one not deserving of the death penalty?
I'm not really sure. I do not know.
That's so weird.
Yeah, I guess they're just like, you're really not going to get out of this
One killing was less severe than the other killings.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, Missouri.
Oh, and also how he would kill them is he would make them he would kill them execution style, and he would take a .22 rifle and shoot them right in the back of the head.
Oh. So if they all died that way, what made one of them less severe?
I'm not really sure.
In the eyes of justice and the law.
I don't know, maybe the one that she made the quilt for? I don't know.
Way to go, Missouri justice.
On March 7th, 1991, the 76-year-old Ray went to trial, where he was found guilty for of the charges against him and sentenced to death via lethal injection. 2 years later, Ray passed away while awaiting execution in the Potosi Correctional Facility. Potosi?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He died in jail.
He died in jail. Okay,
No.
I like it.
On August 6th, 1999, Faye's death sentence was overturned because the evidence of her involvement wasn't enough to warrant such a sentence. However, she was to still remain in prison due to the still standing murder convictions. This prompted outrage from several women rights activist groups who protested against the imprisonment and argued that she was no longer deemed a threat to society. However, no one listened to these protests, and on December 2000, after an attempt to reinstate Faye's death sentence a month prior, Tom and Jeanette Block, founders of the Missourians Against State Killing, MASK organization, continued to fight for Faye's release from prison by requesting that people send in letters of support for Faye. On August 10th, 2002, Faye suffered a stroke that left her partially paralyzed and incapable of speech. As a result, she was paroled weeks later to the Morningside Center nursing home in her hometown of Harrison, Arkansas. So I guess she was kind of extradited.
No, it wasn't extradited.
I know, but like
wasn't quite extradited.
The closest thing that you wanted. Finally, on December 30th, 2003, Faye passed away at the age of 82. And that's the story of Ray and Faye Copeland, and their murderous spree in Missouri.
Nice.
Yeah.
What a neat story.
What a neat story. Wow, how cool is that?
Is that all researched by you?
Okay, so I have to make a quick announcement really quick. I already said really quick. This week had been exceptionally busy for me, as will next week. So I actually used criminalminds.wikia.com, which was that Wikia? It's like
Wikia.
Wikia.
Yeah.
And that really helped a lot. That's where I got a lot of my research. I also got a lot of research from a documentary on YouTube, which was super awesome. I highly recommend checking that out. I also use a lot of research from thoughtco.com. So,
I got a lot of my research from the Prism website. Got a lot of mine from different historical websites from different historical websites from Nebraska, and then a few of those stories came from a blog as well.
Wow.
I like to go to blogs for haunted stories because people in comments write the funniest things. So Tyler, that was all you had for me, right?
Yep.
And that was all I had for you.
Yeah. Do we have any announcements?
There's going to be some changes. Tyler's not going to appear on the podcast anymore. I'm kidding. I don't think so. I don't think we have any announcements. Do you have any announcements?
I want a puppy. And a free mocha.
You got to calm down with that nonsense. You can find us on Facebook at The Right Wrong Turn. It's a page. Like it. The logo looks like the human centipede for now.
And hopefully we'll be changing that.
We're going to change that real soon. I've been pressing Tyler for about 4 days to get that so I can proceed with iTunes and Spotify and iHeartRadio and Apple Music.
Hopefully we'll get to YouTube sometime. Even if we're not monetized, we'll at least be on there.
So we can go ahead and put our podcasts on all of those directories, but we can't do that without a new logo. And so if you want a new logo and you want to hear us on Spotify and iTunes, better message Tyler or email us all of your hate mail towards Tyler, rightwrongturnpodcast@gmail.com. I monitor that, and I'm sure I could give Tyler the credentials to that if I trust him enough with it.
Oh, you shouldn't trust me with that.
You can email us there with any stories that you have for us that you want us to tell, any recommendations for stories that you want us to tell, or any general inquiries in general.
Speaking of which, not that I don't trust you, but have you been checking that?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Anything?
Nearly daily. Nope.
No.
We don't even have 200 downloads yet, Tyler. What else was I going to say? You can find us on Podbean.
And Stitcher.
And Stitcher, because your boy got us on Stitcher. Me. I'm your boy. I put us on Stitcher.
And hopefully, with that new logo, I can get that picture to you sometime. I totally forgot to take it last night.
I know.
Because I had to have a study sesh.
I know.
And then after my study sesh, it was like 10 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I was up until 2 o'clock in the morning last night trying to figure out which classes I needed to do.
I'm sorry.
So that was kind of cool. Anyway, I don't care. I'm not crying about it. It's fine.
I hope you're crying about it. You want to send us away, Tyler Bears?
Yeah. Whenever you're on your way home, whether you're driving, maybe you're walking, you'll come across a turn. Why don't you take it? Go down and explore it. Sniff the air. Lick the grass. I'm going to throw this.
Lick the
away.
grass.
No.
Continue.
Okay. Smell the air. Eat a nut or two off the ground. I don't know. Whatever you want to do. Make sure that you go down the right wrong turn. Because we'll be there.
We will?
Yeah. We'll be talking away.
We'll be
Telling
right in your
ghost stories.
earphones.
Telling about all the murders.
Stealing cows.
There's a lot of bad people down that right wrong turn. You might not want to take it.
Yeah, you may not want to take the right wrong turn, but we will be here to accompany you on the right wrong turn because that's what we are. We are the right wrong turn.